Hey there everybody, Scudder here, and I hope you guys are doing great today. So tonight, it is about 10 degrees below zero outside, and I don't think that I have ever experienced weather quite that cold. Being from the south, even in the winter we do get cold weather, but I've never seen it quite that far below zero for myself. So it's pretty cold out there, I'm here to tell you. And if you've watched another one of my videos, you'll know that for the past couple of days we've had a pretty big winter storm that came through here. So yesterday afternoon I decided, there was snow everywhere, it was beautiful, I wanted to get out and get a bunch of pictures. So I got dressed, put on my boots and my coat and my hat and my mittens, and I went outside and I went walking. And I went down the street and then up to the main road so that I could get some good nature pictures. And that's about the time that the Arctic air from Canada started flowing in, and we were having wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. So it was like a blizzard out there, and I've never been in conditions quite like that. And I was walking around in some of the areas that I was walking around in. I had to go into like some grassy field areas where I was trying to get some pictures, and I had snow almost up to my knees, and I'm a pretty tall boy, so there was a lot of snow out there, and it was cold. It was just absolutely bitter cold. Um, and while I was out there taking pictures, I'm not sure why this popped into my head, but as I was trudging through all that deep snow, trying to walk, and I was having a hard time keeping my balance, I got to thinking about the pioneers and Indians and people like that from the old days and what they must have gone through having to survive those kind of situations. And, even I thought even about people in the Bible days who had to go through that kind of stuff, and they didn't have the modern conveniences of that day, of the pioneers and the Indians in that time era. And I kept thinking, it must have been awfully difficult for them to have to survive such conditions without the modern conveniences that we have today. When it snows like this, we have really bad weather, we can get into our nice, comfy, warm cars, and we can still drive around and get where we need to go pretty quickly. And in their day, a lot of them had to walk by foot and for miles and miles and sometimes hundreds of miles. And if they were lucky enough to have animals, they could do that, but they were still exposed to the elements. And I thought, that must have been a pretty tough way to have to live. And I think that in this day and time that we're in, I know that a lot of us are facing, a lot of challenging situations, especially with the economy being what it's being and where it's going. People are getting laid off left and right. Money's harder to come by, and everybody's kind of scared. But I think part of me, that little situation yesterday kind of taught me that I think that part of the reason, now I understand it's not the full reason, but I think part of the reason why we are also worried about this is because we're worried that we're going to lose a lot of our luxuries that we have just grown accustomed to. And, I know not everybody has the same luxuries. Some people have more, some people have less. But, I would say probably the majority of us, have a good bit of luxury, what we would consider luxury. And, just even the little things, our computers, our cameras, our iPods, our cars, our kitchen appliances. I mean, those things are luxuries. They are. Because if you think about it, in the old days, they didn't have these kinds of things that we have today. They had to do everything, from scratch, the hard way. They had to build all of their own stuff, their own housing. That, a lot of people in the old days, they had to, even make their own like kitchen utensils and stuff. They had to make those out of wood and things like that. And I think that we're scared we're going to lose our modern conveniences that we have. And we've become become spoiled. We have. Even those of us who don't have a lot of money, I think even we're spoiled a little bit. And that is why we are so terrified of what's coming. I know the other stuff, the bigger issues, and there are a lot of bigger issues, a lot of government stuff, a lot of changes, a lot of freedoms being taken away. But, those things are separate issues. What I'm dealing with today is how we have become a society that we just think that we deserve all of these luxuries and all these conveniences that we have. And when someone does something to us, like takes our jobs away or, makes us have to pay higher taxes or whatever, we get offended about that, and rightfully so in some respects. But again, I think part of the reason is because we don't want our comfort things taken away from us. So, that's just something that, that's been on my mind that I thought maybe you guys might want to think about as well. I know that all the issues going on in the world today are, they're big, they're important, they are. But I think some of our worry maybe is a little unfounded because we need to step back and take a look at ourselves and our priorities. And maybe it's time that we start learning how to not be quite so spoiled in the things that we have. God has promised us, for those of us who follow him, he has promised that he would never put more on us than we could ever bear. And I don't know about you, but I believe that to be true. I've gotten to where today, in my life today, I find myself thanking him a whole lot more. And even over the smallest things that probably in a different time in my life I would never thank him for. I would just think, well, that's just something small, don't need to worry about that. But even the smallest things, I find myself thanking God because when he gives us blessings, I think we take them for granted a lot of times because of the society that we are living in this day and time. And, and he doesn't always make it easy on us. He surely doesn't. There are times when it's not easy. He makes us have to work a little bit harder with our faith. But, in those times that he does take care of us and gives us those few little extra blessings, we need to learn to thank him more. Because you think about it, what if you had to go back to traveling by foot, in, -0 degree weather, and had to travel 20 miles, just think about that, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, I guess, but that's just kind of what's been on my mind for the past couple of days. I know that the things that are going on are scary, and they're probably going to get a whole lot scarier before it's all said and done. But just remember that God has promised that he will not put more on us than each of us are able to bear, and he will take care of us. And take some time to start thanking him for the things in your life, because you could quite possibly not have those things. And the blessings that you have, you need to remember to say thanks for those, because there are a lot of people out there that don't have the same blessings that you do. So, and the other part of this, and I'll wrap it up because I'm going to run out of time, is to say, maybe it's time we start learning some better skills and start learning how to be more self-sufficient. It's nice to have the pretties and the play toys, but let's try to remember that there may be a time when we may not be able to have those, and we're going to have to survive without them. And if you don't know how to survive without them, then you better start learning, because it's just good knowledge to have. And that knowledge could save your life and save the life of your family one of these days. So, maybe if I've got some time, I may do a few more videos in the next week or two on some of those subjects. But, just something for you guys to think about. Sorry that I'm kind of rambling, but it's late, and I just wanted to get that off my chest, I guess. So, anyway, I hope that helps somebody out there, at least maybe puts a little seed in your mind to make you think a little bit. remember to say your prayers and thank the Lord for what you do have, and remember to do that daily. So you guys take care. Love you much. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.